Cape Fear. Cape Fear was released in 1991 and is directed by Martin Scorsese and starred as De Niro, Nick Nolte, Jessica Lange, Juliette Lewis and Gregory Peck. And Gregory Peck was actually in the original 1962 film Cape Fear. I haven't seen that. All I know is what I've seen in this film. And basically this film tells the story of Max Cady, played by De Niro in the film. He's a convicted rapist, and after getting released from prison at the start of the film, he starts to stalk Nick Nolte and his family. However, as the film unfolds, you find out that Nick Nolte was a lawyer who represented De Niro's character Max Cady before he went to prison. And then you start to realise that maybe there's more to the film than you initially thought. And that's basically the plot of Cape Fear. There's some other storylines that go in there, but that's the main plot of the film. And actually, I had quite a weird experience watching this film, because I was watching the first act of the film thinking, okay, this is good. It's good, but it's not brilliant. I'm liking it, but I'm not loving it. Then I got to the third act of the film, and although I don't think it's a particularly brilliant film, the third act of the film was just so incredibly enjoyable, and just I was watching this with the biggest smile on my face, because that was a proper thriller in the first half of the film. Honestly, it's so exciting and so just fun and just so interesting to watch in the third act of the film. Honestly, I actually loved the third act of the film, and I don't think the first two acts are bad in any way, but at the same time, I think the third act of the film was just so much better than the first two acts. So actually, I quite enjoyed this film, I must admit. And although I don't think it's one of Scorsese's best films, in my opinion, Scorsese's best film will always be Goodfellas. I absolutely love that film, and I really want to go and watch it again. Actually, I haven't got around to watching it again, but I'm going to watch Goodfellas again. But anyway, back to Cape Fear. I went off a bit track there. But anyway, back to Cape Fear. Although I don't think it's the best Scorsese film, I still think it's very well made. I still think it's clearly a Scorsese film through the direction, and I did still really enjoy it. But I do have some issues with the film, I'm not going to lie. First of all, it does take a bit of time to adjust to. It kind of throws you straight in. There's no like opening scene, there's no lead or anything, it just throws you straight in. You get all Scorsese direction, his fast-paced direction, which by the way, I really like, but it just threw you straight in. I was like, okay, we're in there, we're going, oh, okay, this happening, and it threw me in there straight away, which did take a bit of time to adjust to. And I think, personally myself, I was hoping for a bit more of a leading, because like I said, I don't know the original film, I don't know the original story, and I was like, okay, we're going in straight in there, and it did take a bit of time to adjust to it, I must admit. But saying that, when I did adjust to the film and adjust to Scorsese's direction, I did really enjoy that aspect of it, actually. I really liked Scorsese's slick and fast-paced direction of the film. I really liked that about it. At the same time, though, I think there's one scene in the first act of the film between Nick Nolte's character and Jessica Lange's character, who play husband and wife in the film, which just kind of felt out of place. That's quite an intimate scene in the film, and I was just watching it feeling like, what significance is going to have for the rest of the film? And it was in the first act, and then I watched the rest of the film, and I had no significance for the rest of the film at all. It just kind of felt a bit out of place. And at the same time, though, it is probably one of those films which you can probably pause because it's so fast-paced, and just pause at one stage and just go, okay, what the hell is going on now? And it is a very fast-paced film, and it's probably one of those films where if you really step back and look at it, you can notice so many plot holes to the film and so many plot problems. You're okay, how did that go to that? How did that add to that? But because the film's so fast-paced and just so moving so fast and everything, all those plot problems that you have with the film, you don't actually notice when you're watching it because it's so fast-paced and so enjoyable to watch. I did really enjoy watching it, but I must admit, in the third act of the film, it was more enjoyable than it was the previous two acts, because that was a proper thriller I wanted. And this is a good thriller film. It was a really good thriller film. I never felt scared in the film now, but it was a good thriller film. There was some really exciting parts of the film, and some parts of the film which I thought, yeah, that is how you make a thriller. Honestly, Martin Scorsese did an absolutely superb job making this film, and it's quite different than, his gangster films, which he normally does as well, which I love his gangster films. I love Casino, I love Goodfellas, and I really like Mean Streets as well. But the thing with the Cape Fear, just the way it was directed, I really liked the way it was directed. I really liked the way it was built up and everything. I mean, there's one scene in particular between Bob De Niro's character, Max Cady, and Juliette Lewis' character, and Juliette Lewis actually plays Nick Nolte's daughter in the film. One scene between those two characters, which is just genius. And that happens in the second act of the film, I think, and that is just a genius, actually, because she didn't actually realise that Bob De Niro's character, Max Cady, is a person that has been stalking her family, and then she realises throughout her conversation with him, and that was an absolutely brilliant scene, which played a lot of significance to the rest of the film. It's got some really strong parts about it. I just wish the film was as enjoyable in the first act as it would in the third act. In the third act, even so, I'm not saying the third act is perfect or anything, that was like the big payoff. And I think the first two acts kind of struggled to get there, I must admit. But saying that, I did still really like the film. And I think there's some really funny things about it. Robert De Niro's performance. I think Robert De Niro was brilliant in this film. This is actually one of the best Robert De Niro performances I've seen him in. Because, he's really good in those gangster films. Like, I really like his performance in Goodfellas. But he's doing a similar sort of performance in films like Goodfellas, Mean Streets, and Casino. But the thing is, in this film, he's doing a really interesting performance, because he's doing this weird accent in the film, this really weird American accent. And the first time you meet in the film, you're almost like, you're going to do that accent for the rest of the film. Oh, here we go. But the thing is, though, he does do that accent for the rest of the film. But actually, it works. The funny thing is with Robert De Niro's performance in the film, it grew on me throughout the film. film. Kind of got why he was acting a bit fake and everything. That was kind of, not to give too much away, but you kind of got the idea of why he was acting that way. And at the same time, though, it kind of works for me. I don't know why, but his performance grew me throughout the film. It's kind of a weird thing. Like, I was thinking, okay, I'm not going to like him throughout the film. It's going to really distract me because I can't believe Rob De Niro would ever do that accent. And then actually, it worked as the film progressed, which was a huge surprise. And at the same time, though, let's talk about the musical score. The musical score for the film is adapted by Elmer Bernstein. Elmer Bernstein is a fantastic composer, by the way. Really like his scores. He liked The Great Escape and Back to the 7 and so on and so on and so on. But anyway, the score for the film is adapted by Elmer Bernstein. I've got two funny things to say about the score. First of all, I'm a big film music fan, so I was listening to this score for the film going, okay, that sounds quite similar to a Bernard Herrmann score for a Hitchcock film. I don't know who Bernard Herrmann is. He did the score for such famous Hitchcock films as Psycho, Vertigo, and so on and so on and so on. So he's done quite a lot of famous scores. And I was listening to parts of the score for the film thinking, that sounds quite like Bernard Herrmann. Elmer Bernstein's done a fantastic job doing the score for this film. And then, after I watched the film, I looked the score up online, and I found out that it was adapted from a Bernard Herrmann score, because Bernard Herrmann did the music for the original Cape Fear in 1962, and I didn't know that. So basically, it is basically a Bernard Herrmann score, it's just adapted from that. But here is a funnier thing, which I absolutely love about this film. When I was watching the film and you hear Max's theme for the first time, you know, this fantastic fanfare, you know, da, 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 da. It's a fantastic piece of music, it really is. But I just thought to myself, that sounds a bit similar to Sideshow Bob's theme in The Simpsons. And then I realised, Sideshow Bob's theme from The Simpsons is copied from Max's theme in this film. And then I realised something even further. Character Sideshow Bob is actually copied from Max in this film as well. And then I realised something even further. It's actually a Simpsons episode, I think it's season 5 episode 2, which is called Cape Fear, which is literally a video of this episode. I mean, it isn't exactly called the same name, you know, Fear, you know, it's actually called Cape Fear, you know, Fear spelled F-E-A-R-E, but it's actually a Simpsons episode which copies off this film, quite literally. So, the Sideshow Bob theme itself, the Sideshow Bob musical theme, where you hear in The Simpsons, every time you have a Sideshow Bob episode in The Simpsons, you just hear that musical theme, you know it's going to be a good episode, by the way. I love Sideshow Bob episodes in The Simpsons, but that Sideshow Bob musical theme in The Simpsons is actually copied off Max's theme in Cape Fear. I didn't know that, and I remember and I'm somebody who grew up watching The Simpsons, so the first time I heard Max's theme in this film, I was like, that's Sideshow Bob's theme. And then I realised, no, it's the other way around. No, Sideshow Bob's theme is Max's theme from Cape Fear. But anyway, that's just a little bit of movie trivia there, which I found quite funny to this film. And actually, I've got a big appreciation for the score film. I love the score for this film. It was absolutely fantastic. It was a proper, you know, thriller score, which I really liked, and the music was brilliant. Even if it was a Bernard Herrmann score, I like Bernard Herrmann. So I really did like the music of the film. I think it was done really well, and I really loved Max's theme for the film. It was fantastic. The thing is, I love it more because The Simpsons copied off it with Sideshow Bob's theme, which is just fantastic. But all in all, I really like the film. I think it's got some really good performances, particularly Nick Nolte. By the way, there's one thing I almost got to mention about Nick Nolte. Nick Nolte, funny enough, because he kind of goes crazy trying to protect his family in this film from Max Cady, for Rob De Niro. And there's one really interesting storyline to do with his guys, because he actually becomes somewhat of a villain in this film, which I really liked about it. Like, he's trying to protect his family, but in the end, he becomes, in a way, more scary than the Rob De Niro character in the film, which I thought was really, really interesting. And by the way, there's actually one scene in the film where Nick Nolte sounds a lot like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, quite literally, and I was like, oh, wow. I was actually watching it thinking, Gollum! But anyway, I really like the performance in the film, particularly Nick Nolte. I really like what they did with his character in the film. I also really like some of the other performances in the film. I really like the way it's directed, I really like the way it's put together. It works really well in my opinion. I really liked it, particularly the third act of the film, which I just thought was so enjoyable. And all in all, I really liked this film, particularly the music of the film as well. I really like the music. And so all in all, I'm going to say that Cape Fear, I'm going to say that's, I'm going to say it's about a 7.8 out of 10. I like this film for the most part. I do think it is one of those films which, if you really step back at it, because it's so fast-paced, if you really step back at it, you'll probably go, how the hell did that add up to that? But, you know, I didn't mind that actually in the long run, because it was a proper thriller, which is what I want from this film. And it's got some really funny aspects about it, particularly the musical score, which I just think is brilliant now. The fact that The Simpsons copied off it, I just think that's brilliant, and I absolutely love The Simpsons for doing that. I'm going off track there. I do really like this film. I really like the music score. I really like the performances. I really like the way. I really like the film's characters, particularly Nick Nolte's character. I really like Rob De Niro's performance. It grew me out of the film, which is kind of weird. I didn't expect his performance to go on really throughout the film, but it did. And ultimately, I really like the film. It's by no means Scorsese's best film, but you know what? I really enjoyed it, particularly in the third act. And so for that reason, I'm going to say that Cape Fear, I'm going to say that's a 7.8 out of 10 from me. Anyway guys, what do you think of Cape Fear? Do you love it, do you hate it, or have you just not watched it? And if not, Why not? Please do comment down below. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Anyway guys, thank you as always for watching. If you haven't yet, please do click down below and like, subscribe on this video, and look forward to many more both film and series coming very, very soon on this channel. See you guys again soon. Bye bye for now. Bye.